Welcome to Digging with Deej. This video I'm going to show you how to restore an antique ironstone crack. This method was given to me by a curator of a museum, and the reason he suggested to use Elmer's glue all is, say perchance you find a very rare crack and a museum wants it, or somebody wants it that wants it to be museum quality restoration. If they don't like how it's been restored, all they have to do is put it in a sink of warm water and let it soak, and they'll be able to take the pieces apart and restore it over again. So this is what the curator told me to use. So this will be a step-by-step video on how to restore an antique ironstone crack. Usually on a bottle dig, cracks, because they are so heavy, the pieces stayed pretty close together in the ground. So it's highly likely that you'll find all the pieces, because they won't be far away from each other because they're so heavy. So I was fortunate enough, I think I found the whole thing, but you never know until you start to put it together. And then you go back and you try to find the other pieces. So that's what we're going to do today. What you will need a tub, which I bought this medium-sized tub at Dollar Tree for $1. Get this at the dollar store too, a scrubber, because you don't want to use the same scrubbers on stuff that's been in the dirt 100 years as you do your own dishes. You're going to need a roll of masking tape. You're going to need a piece of wax paper. You're going to need a medium stiff straight angle paintbrush. You're going to need a bottle of Elmer's glue all. And I have cookie sheets I use for my crafts, and then I have ones that I use for food. Do not use the same cookie sheets for food. So buy some cheap cookie sheets, and you'll need to put parchment on top of them. So I figure I'm going to need 2. I've got 2 of my craft sheets. A towel, an old towel. So you start out by scrubbing. No soap in the water, just plain water. Soap will leave a film, and then they won't stick together when you go to glue them back together. And you want to scrub the dickens out of the cracked parts where it broke, where you're going to be gluing it back together. That. And I do this twice. Do not do this in your kitchen sink when it's covered with dirt. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a terrible mess, because eventually all that dirt is going to clog that drain. And then you're going to be calling a plumber, because it's going to have to be snaked, because more than likely liquid plumber will not eat through dirt. I don't know, but that would be my guess, because dirt will settle and it'll pack down and accumulate. So scrub this. I do this twice. So let me get back to you once I get it done the first time. Okay, so I got them all scrubbed up first time. So now I go dump the water, clean out the bin or the pan, fill it with fresh clean water. You still do not add any soap, no bleach, no nothing. And rinse them all again. I'll get back to you. Be sure to recycle your water and pour it on your plants. My hydrangea is looking a little peaked. Pardon the road noise. I live next to a busy road. So then you get your clean water and you put them back in and scrub them again. Make sure you got it all off. Get all the cracks. Get in the handles. Good. Good. Okay, and I'll get back to you when I get this done. Okay. Can you see in this water? I'm trying to bend that down. See how much more dirt's in there? So that's why you got to do it at least twice. I do it 3 times, but do it at least twice. So, I'll get back to you the next step. Okay, this is the next step. Take a cookie sheet. See, make sure you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. I might need 3 cookie sheets for this one. I thought I'd only need 2, but I'm going to need 3 probably. And you set them on, use parchment paper to protect the cookie sheet. There's that. And that. And you can stack them on each other. It won't hurt them. So there's one. There's one cookie sheet. And then same thing with this one. These are some monster pieces. Because it, after all, it is a 6-gallon crock. Chuck him underneath. I'm going to need one more for the last piece. And you put these in an oven, a preheated oven, at 250 degrees. And you bake them for an hour and a half. Take them out and let them cool. And I'll get back to you with the next step. Okay. We're done baking. So now we start reassembling. The first thing I do is I start tearing off pieces of tape. Because I'm going to have my hands full and I just need tape ready to grab and fasten to the crock to hold it in place. Okay, we got ourselves a few pieces, okay? So, this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna get it, shake it down. Going to try to keep the glue in the center. Here's my towel. Center of the cracks. Okay, there's one. Do the same thing to the other side. You don't want to put too much on. Oh, come on, thing. Figures the glue would act up now. There we go. Then you take this brush. It's semi-stiff. You know, it's a firm number 3 flat edge artist brush. And you start spreading it. Yeah, I don't have enough glue on there. So add more glue. And you just want to get it moistened. You don't want it extra thick or anything, because you're going to be putting 2 sides together that have glue on them. Take the glue all the way to the edge. Any globs, hard globs of glue that you come across, take them off. And if you need more, just squeeze it onto your paintbrush. Pardon Tanner, she doesn't like motorcycles. And we just had 2 motorcycles. 2 Harleys just go by. I did not own my Harley when I got her, so she has no idea that motorcycles are good. Kind of somewhat tedious work, just somewhat time consuming, but if you do it right the first time, you won't have to do it over again. Got this one set. I may have to glue up too high on this one because I don't have the piece. I do, because that piece doesn't go that high. So don't put glue on it till you're ready to attach another piece. So those 2 should be close. Okay. So make sure your bottom is on top of wax paper, because if you put it on top of fabric, you'll glue your fabric right to it. There. A little bit more right there. There we go. So, I've been taking your tape, pushing your edges together on the side. That, and then put your tape across. It's one side. And I like it on the wax paper. It helps slide it on the table better. This needs a little bit more. That. Get those together there. Take your tape and do the same thing again. Same thing on the inside. Tape them together on the inside so it helps hold it together while it dries. See some open cracks here. And if you see any cracks, try to fill them with the glue. Because there's always going to be some chips that you can't replace if they're really tiny. So what I do is I like to try to fill the cracks with glue. Then I take my towel and I wipe it, the surface of it, so that there's no surface glue left. It's all in the cracks. And then when it dries, you won't even be able to see it. There. That. Another piece of tape across there. Okay. Your base, you need to make sure that dries completely before you start building. And that could take several hours. So, I'm going to take you off of here so you can see inside what it looks like. I've got another crack here I'm going to fill with a little more and then clean the excess off. So that's the point you're at right now, and I'll get back to you when I'm ready to build, when the glue is dry and I'm ready to build on the base. So we're going to start with the face of it. That's where that goes. So, put the glue on. Get your paintbrush. Got excess on that. So we're going to put it on this one. Now that will be parts of the glaze, like they've been chipped, but they are on the top piece here. So make sure you get your glue on every bit of that edge. Don't worry if you go over the outside edge, you can always wipe it off as long as you do it right away with a damp towel. Okay. And wiggle it around until you get it flush. Okay. Take this towel is damp. That. You take your tape, back up to hold it in place. Put it in. You don't want to be able to feel an edge on that. That's good. Over it one more time. that. And I'm going to put them on the inside as well. So you will see excess glue that is squeezed out. You want to do the same thing to the inside and wipe it off with your damp cloth. Glue. Now, did I go and move it on? There. The tape is back up on the inside as well. We got that piece on. Okay. So this looks like this might be next. And it is. And it would go just like that. So, do the same thing with this one. Now, once you have your base dry, you can start working with the rest of it. So, take the glue, paint it, paintbrush so you've got it completely coated. Not super thick because you've got two sides going together. I mean, whatever squeezes out, you can wipe that off with a damp cloth on the inside glaze and the outside glaze so it doesn't look messy. Now, even if you restore this and put it back together, you can never hold liquid in it. You can't eat out of it. It's not safe to eat out of any broken pottery. Okay. Do the same thing again. Wiggle it around till you've got the point where you don't feel an edge. Feel a little bit of an edge there. Take your damp towel. Don't worry if you see like there's a lot there. You got to keep watching too, because sometimes more will squeeze out while you're working on it. Oh shoot. Alright, double check it because it moved, and that will happen. I can see the crack there. That's good. There's that. Okay, now we put the tape on to reinforce the so it holds. And you just keep doing that all the way around. So, I bet you this goes here. Now you're going to find times where there's chips out and there's nothing you can do about that. That just gives it character to the piece, I think. Yeah, goes like that. So that's how that piece will go. So I'll get back to you when I get more of it put together. I've gotten quite a bit put back together right now, but I am still missing some pieces. So, you see there. Okay, now I do have this piece here, and it goes right there, but I don't want to put it on yet because as you can see, I still have some other pieces I have to find, and it'll be next to impossible to slide this piece in if that one's already glued. So I'm going to leave that one off until I find my other pieces. But just let this set for 24 to 48 hours. And then you should be able to, carefully move it to wherever you want to display it. But that's all there is to it. It's time consuming, and as I said, you never know if you got all of it until you start to put it together. So I'm assuming I have 1, maybe 3, maybe 4 more pieces left. Just depends on how it broke. But I know exactly what area of the dump I found it in, because when I box up crockery, I always draw a map, a sketch of the dump, and I put an X where I found it. So I can always go back and dig in that area and try to find the rest of the pieces. So I hope this video was helpful. And, just like anything else, be patient. Sometimes things take longer, or you don't find as many good targets when you're metal detecting or bottle digging. But be patient and never give up. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.